A hearty welcome to all of you to our YouTube channel CA Sansaar. I am speaking Stella from the CA Sansaar. Today we are going to talk about a very interesting topic which is the smartest way to retain and recall. And also our today guest is Zakir sir, CA Zakir sir. So just a little brief introduce I want to tell you about CA Zakir sir. That he is a chartered accountant with the experience at Chris Capital and a strong background in a tax, technology and academic contribution. And also now I would like to invite you sir. Thank you so much to giving your valuable time and also joining us. Before I begin, I request to all of you those who are watching us to subscribe our YouTube channel and do not forget to like, share and comment. So now, sir,
Yeah.
I would
Thank you,
like to
Stella.
invite you to share your topic of today.
Thank you, Stella, for your nice welcome. So, our today's topic is smartest way to retain and recall. So, it is our general problem in the financial domain and for the student life also that we study lot of things but was unable to retain it. And since we are unable to retain it, so we are unable to recall it at the time that we need the information handy. Just like in the case of exam, that the students kind of forget what they have actually studied. So today's topic is related to that only. So I will be sharing some tricks and some method that over the year various psychological experts and the industry have developed. So Stella, can you move it to the next slide? Yeah, so let me tell you how our memory work. So it goes through three process. First is encoding, then storage, then retrieval. In encoding stage, we kind of absorb the information in our memory. We take all the information from different sources. Let's say I'm seeing a video or taking a notes from the classes. In that phase, I am encoding the information in my brain. Then our brain stores it for future retrieval in the second stage, and in the retrieval stage our brain provides us the information that we want for ready reference. So in these three stages we now know how the memory works. First it encodes the information for storage, then after storage it provides us for the retrieval of the information. Let's say for a student at the time of exam, student can be able to retrieve it, or the professional, let's say I'm into appeal in the GST department, or maybe I'm able to retrieve it or not at the time of appeal. So that's the question. So now coming to next slide, what will be the active recall strategy? We kind of do regularly read and read kind of multiple time we read the information, but are we able to recall anything from that? Let's say I have read the chapter 5 times, but is it I'm able to recall it at the time I required the information? So that's the main point of the exercise of how you can recall the information. You can read any information multiple times, but if you are not able to recall it at the time of your need, then it is of no use. You might have read hundreds of books, but if you are not able to communicate and recall whenever you need them, then it's of no use. It's more or less that you have not read at all. So how you can do it in a basic essence? Let's say you've read a chapter. So you can just simply close the book and then you can try to recall what have you read in the past 15 or 1 hour from whatever time you are reading. Then from that information that you have recalled without opening the book, try to make a flow chart or kind of jot down some keywords so that you can later assess how many terms from the chapter or how many data you have actually recalled from what you have learned. In that way you can able to see how the progress is going. And let's say you have read it a book or a chapter for a half an hour, and from that half an hour how much you able to recall. That would be the idea. And again you can ask yourself question also. After 1 or 2 hours when you have stopped reading, just ask yourself a simple question that how much you were able to recall the data from what you have read in the last half an hour. So this is the basic technique of reading a recall that we most of us might have also been using since school days. Now, the other point is forgetting cover. We as a human and as a in general parlance try to forget the information that our brain has received. So we might have the old memories that are fading. So there is a concept called fading, forgetting curve. So in that, our brain tends to forget the information if you are not recalling or retrieving it properly over time. So let's say I have read a chapter 5 months back and I am not recalling it frequently. Then my forgetting curve will be more. I will be more in the line to forget the information. But on the other end, if I am recalling it every week or let's say every month of what I have learned in the previous month, then I will be able to recall it and I will not forget what I have learned 100%. And there is a famous technique developed by Mr. Feynman, a psychologist. So, Feynman technique is basically based on the premise that whatever you have learned, maybe it might be a complex theorem or a poem or a theater dialogues, but whatever you have learned, if you are not able to kind of break it and explain it to a 5-year-old child, then you actually not able to understand the concept. So it is the simple premise. Let's say you have read a complex law, let's say income tax law, and you are trying to absorb all the provision related to capital gains. So in that, you can first read all about the capital gain, then try to recall, retrieve, and try to beat the forgetting curve that we have just now taken care in the previous slide. Then after you have absorbed all the information and you are able to recall it for yourself, so then you now have to try that will you be able to kind of explain it to a little child or some of your friend in a simple language. If you can explain it to a little child or your friend in a simple language, then it can be understood that you have actually kind of understand it and able to recall the data. So the theorem developed by Feynman technique, developed by physicist Richard Feynman, this technique exposes us to the knowledge gap that we have. If we are not able to make explain the child the concept, then we are not actually understand the concept by ourselves. So in that basic step is that you can first choose any topic, let's say a capital gain chapter from income tax, then try to simplify it in language that a child can understand. For our context, we can try it to explain it to a layman. And if there are gap that the layman cannot understand from our language, then we can obviously identify the gap and try to review where are the gaps and try to accommodate the language that a layman can understand. And after the we can refine the language and simply put it for our audience to understand. Now, visual learning. I think this is the most trending topic nowadays, coming because of the smart classes and all that stuff. So, visual learning is basically nothing just to visualize the information or the chapter or the data that we have read. So let's say we have read that Delhi has more population compared to Bombay or let's say Bengal. So we can use different visual techniques in that we can make we plot a bar graph depicting the heights of Delhi, Bombay, and Calcutta and other tier one, tier two cities. So we can for with the help of the bar charts and other diagram, we will be able to recall that Delhi has the highest population since the graph will show the that it is the tallest. So we can use the aid of these bar charts, pie charts, and other visual learning tools so that we can able to recall the data properly. Recently, also in the schools and in the college, there is a smart board concept that they are using to teach the student in an effective manner. So again, visual learning is one of the tool that we can use to recall the information that we are reading. Now, most importantly, all these tools will be of no use unless we fuel our brain. So, since the car requires fuel to run, our body requires food to run. Similarly, our brain requires something to run it properly, to kind of effectively work at the time we need. So, first and foremost is the sleep. So better and sound sleep is of no compromise. For any expert you can talk, first thing they point out is sleep. Sleep is of utmost importance. If you are not sleeping properly, then other tool might not work you. So as a standard or as a suggested, a 7 to 8 hours of sound sleep is required during a day as per your sleep cycle. And apart from sleep, you have to take a nutritious food, not very high on carbohydrates and fats, but you have to take a balanced diet, protein rich, that provide you the all nutrients, vitamins and minerals to better equip and open the brain cells that are only opened by the particular vitamins. So vitamins and nutrients also plays a part to fuel our brain. And then comes the exercise. It is generally accepted that a physically active person is also mentally active. So for mentally active, for to become a mentally active, you have to be physically active also. 1 hour of exercise can fuel your whole day, so you can brain can function properly. So these are the three things you can use and try to implement in your life to fuel your brain. And now coming to exam day strategy, or let's say for professionals, D-day strategy. Let's say I'm planning to go for an appeal to appear before the appellate, or similarly for students who are watching for an exam day strategy. So how can I try to have my peak performance at the time of exam or at the time of proceeding? So these are some below point. Scan the paper for the students. You can simply first scan all the questions, then try to familiarize by it. And for the professional, try to familiarize with the environment in the appellate proceedings and what the honorable judges are asking you. And try to easy win first. Try to answer the question that you are very confident first. For a student, it's more relevant, so try to answer the question that you are more confident with so that you can have a confidence, and with the confidence the momentum will with you, and with the momentum you can kind of take on the more challenging question. And also for the recall and retrieval strategies, you can try to recall using visual learning what you have visualized the data, or you can try to explain and write in your own words so that you can complete the exam and the appellate proceedings. For key takeaways, what I would suggest from the whole of our slide says active recall. Active recall is one of the foremost thing. You can't just read all the data all the time, and without recalling the data, you will not be able to retrieve it at the time of your requirement. So for the retrieval, you have to recall the data frequently, recall the syllabus, recall the taxation laws frequently, so that you can able to retrieve it at the time of your need, maybe at exam or maybe at professional settings or maybe at the appellate proceedings. Space it out. In the regular interval, you have to review what you have all learned and how much you have retained. You cannot just go to the exam or the appellate proceeding or with your client and just try to sum it out. You have to be regular and thorough in your studies, and your grasping power must be high. And you have to take regular review of the same. Again, as I highlighted earlier, you have to stay healthy also. For that, you have to take balanced diet, nutritious diet. You have to be physically active. You have to be having a sound sleep of 7 to 8 hours. And out of this, you have to attain the balance of all these. If you able to attain the balance of all these what I have suggested, I am pretty sure, and you must also be sure that you will be able to achieve what you are trying to recall and retain for your brain. So with this, I'm thanking once again Stella, CSNSR team, for giving me the opportunity for this wonderful seminar, short seminar on the video that we have hosted. And maybe it will be helpful to the students and professional alike. Looking forward to the queries. If you have, feel free to reach me out over LinkedIn and my contact details. And looking forward for more such opportunity from CSNSR. Thank you, Stella. Thank you, team.
Such a very well and a wonderful you explain by the step by step the smartest way to retain and recall, sir. And I want to see you by the hardly. Thank you so much. Like it will be very much helpful for the professional way and also by the students. So definitely it will be help. And you guys having the any question, you guys can ask the question in our comment section, and definitely we will reply you. Thank you so much, sir. Zakir, sir.
Thank you, Stella. We'll connect you again. Bye.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much.